Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet Rain, and my guest today is Marcia Martin. Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, is a spiritual empowerment counselor, metaphysical minister, best-selling author, public speaker, clairaudient angel communicator, specializing in helping people heal their relationship with themselves. By healing the heart of all past pain and trauma, you'll be able to establish and maintain healthy relationships with yourself and all others so that you can live a successful life. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Well, we love to have our guests on here, and I love to talk to them about their experiences. I feel like most people are going through a spiritual awakening either now or they have in the past. What guided you to do some of this work? Have you always been in this field, or were you in another field and moved into this area?
Well, I have had that ability to communicate with the angelic realm all of my life, even though I didn't understand it. But I was more concentrated in the education and psychology aspect of life rather than really understanding the energetics and the ability to heal. So it was a big transition. I often say the journey from my head to my heart was the longest journey that I've ever taken, but the most impactful because I had spent so much time in that education and psychology world that I just really worshiped the brain. I just thought, well, if you get the brain going in the direction that you want it to do, hey, life becomes easy, and you will have the answer to all of life's problems. And then I tried to do that, and I recognized I'm just up against one roadblock after another. So I thought, oh well, it's good enough, or um, something else needs to happen, or I just don't know which approach to use. I had just a whole litany of excuses of why I didn't need to change my point of focus, but just maybe my methodology. And it wasn't until I entered my dark night of the soul that I realized, oh, I've got this all backwards. The head is not really capable of leading because the heart is that central point of focus and connection. And when we get the heart going in the right direction, the head is capable of following. It can do what you need it to do, it can follow right along. It will give you that opportunity to be able to hold on to those affirmations or the other things that you may be using. But as long as the heart is in turmoil, in pain, and in trauma, you can't get past that to get up here to do that work.
It's really important that we're aligned both in our heart and our thoughts, right? We also have that
Absolutely.
ego that comes in every once in a while that we have to work through, that shadow work. But, society teaches us if we work hard, we get an education, we do all the things that society believes that we should do, which is very mental, brain, head, brain type stuff,
Yes.
that life will be great. But what we don't realize out there in the reality of the real world, that our heart is very connected to our soul and what we are here to do. And so having both of those aligned and being in alignment, it really makes the big difference. But a lot of people don't step into their hearts. They kind of miss that whole aspect, that your heart, the the voice within is so important versus the voices out here and the noise and the distractions, right? The heart is really going to lead you in the right direction if we trust and listen to it. And sometimes that can be really hard. I love the fact that you work with angels, and those that are listening or watching, share with us some of your experiences, because there are so many people out there in the world that don't believe we can connect to angels, that we're not supposed to work with angels. And the angelic realm, at least for me, has been life saving because I love to work with them on a daily basis. So, share a little bit of your experiences with the angelic realm.
Well, the first thing I want to let everyone understand is it's not going to be the skies opening and beings coming down right in front of you to do some miraculous act. If you're waiting for that, then you are missing all of the times in which you are interacting with them. And I remember long before I understood, oh my gosh, my heart connection to the divine is, or my connection to the divine is in the heart. When I was still in my head about angels and how wonderful it would be if they would just appear, I heard a story of someone who had had an experience with the angelic realm when their car had broken down. And so I kind of based all of my experiences going forward on this particular incident. I wanted to meet an angel in person. That was going to be, then I would know that I was communicating with angels. But that may or may not happen. It can happen. It's certainly a possibility. I have had only one encounter like that. But what I do have on a regular basis throughout the day are little knowings, little synchronicities, little forms of communication. And I think it's so important what you said, Violet, which was the world is noisy. And this voice within, this voice in the heart, is quite quiet. It is not insisting, and it's very kind and loving. So if you're looking for big, booming instructions, or you're looking for a force that will like hit you over the head, knock you out, make it difficult for you to keep going in whatever direction you're going, that's not what you're going to be communicating with. This is a still small voice. This is feathers that you might find in random places. This is getting the parking space that you may need if you're in a particularly difficult place to park, or you might be running late. This is running into that person that you had been hoping to catch up with, or finding out about an opportunity that is perfect for you that you otherwise might have missed. It is the little ways in which they support us that are going to end up changing your life more than that one encounter that is over and then doesn't repeat. So get used to them being in your everyday life in small, subtle ways that make your life better. And just thank them for the birds, or that while you're walking and thinking, and suddenly you smell a beautiful smell and look over and there are flowers, or the hummingbird goes by, or any other kind of sign that would be unusual for you, is a way that they're communicating with you. Anything out of the ordinary, anything that catches your attention, anything that makes you stop and say, oh, what was I doing? That can be angelic communication.
I love that. I just got through, excuse me, you can tell it's fall. The allergies are in place.
Oh.
I just got through teaching this weekend angelic Reiki, and always I ask the students in class, have you found feathers in the last couple weeks? Because when people start to move into that realm of angelic Reiki or angelic healing or angelic readings or angelic connections, I find that the angels prior to that are trying to get your attention. So you will find feathers in strange places, or I always talk about that clock, that you wake up in the middle of the night and the digital numbers, angels talk in numbers. So if you see a series of numbers over and over and over again, they're talking to you. They're trying to get your attention and your awareness, because we're so distracted that we don't always connect or see that they're desperately trying to communicate with us, or an angel image somewhere and you notice it out of all of these images that there's this angel. That means there's one with you trying to say, hello, do you notice that we're here? Hello, we want to talk to you. And I think it's so important when we start making those correlations and becoming very aware of the energies around us and what's happening, because we move through our day very, very distracted and very much on autopilot a lot of the times. We're not present or grounded. And when we're not in our physical bodies, it's really hard for them to go, hello, hello, Violet, we're trying to talk to you, right? And I agree, those beautiful miracles that people have, you may not have that where somebody shows up at just the right time for you to give you directions or help you with a flat tire or answer a question that you're searching for, and then you turn around and they're gone. And a lot of people have those experiences where they're like, there's no way that was a person or a human being. That was an angel showing up for me. And I really do believe they show up for us periodically to help us when we ask for help, or we're standing someplace and we're like, I really don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I think they really come in to help us. So, Marcia, talk to us, best-selling author and speaker. Share with us some of the things or the books that you've written, or some of the areas that you talk upon when you meet with audiences or clients. Just share some of those perspectives with us.
Well, I think it's so important that we understand that we can use the energetic support system in our daily life. So, right now, I'm doing a series of workshops where we're just looking at ways in which you can let go of something that will feel very uncomfortable. This happens to be business people. So, we're looking at things like how to overcome failure, how to overcome imposter syndrome, procrastination, these things that may be a part of either owning a business or being in business. It might be a part of your life. So I'm helping them to understand everything is energetics. So this thing that feels so massive that you have to tackle here in the real world is much easier to handle when you change the way that you are relating to it internally. So if you see yourself as a failure, or you allow past learning experiences to define you as a failure, then you're making it really difficult to not have that experience in your outer world. But if you are able to see everything as an opportunity and nothing as, well, that was a disaster, if you can take what you have learned, whether it was positive or negative, from every experience, then all you've created are opportunities instead of failures. So the angels say failure is not an event, it's an opportunity. And they are just encouraging us to constantly be in that place of learning. They always have a good time. They are never worried about it's the end of the world. There's no Chicken Little going on for them. The sky is never falling. They only see the possibilities. And so when we train ourselves to go within and clear away some of the baggage that we have brought with us for whatever reason, we'll have a much easier time. And I encourage everyone, take a look at the belief systems that you're holding on to. It's fall, the seasons are changing, we're ready to go into winter, where we often think of it as a period of hibernation. Don't go into your hibernating state with a lot of worn out beliefs. Instead, allow yourself to say, as a child, I believed this, or my family of origin or my culture believe this. Does that still work for me with who I am, where I am, what I might be doing, where I'm living? Does what used to work as a child still work for you today with the knowledge that you have? And if not, it's okay to change it. It's okay to expand, to become more, to allow yourself to really be present in this beautiful life that you've created for yourself.
I love that because you're sharing a little bit of the beauty. There are people out there that look at the sunset and don't see the beauty in it, or look at the trees and don't see the beauty. It's really, can you see the positive in everything? It's about seeing that glass half full instead of half empty. It's about our state of being and how it's our reaction to the experiences and our states that make the difference. If we react in the negative way, woe is me, everything always happens to me, this is always this is what I always get, blah, blah, blah. You really recreate that over and over again because that comes from a heart space, that comes from an emotion based reaction that really does recreate that. And so I'll have clients say to me, so I should fake it till I make it. And I said, basically, if you can look at everything and see the lessons, the positive, what it was meant to provide you, and move through it in a different state of being for all of those experiences, opportunities, whatever's coming through, you will move through it easier. You will shift quicker. You will have less of those experiences and you will actually attract in more of the positive. But sometimes it takes us really faking it a little bit of saying, nope, I'm not going to have that be me. I'm going to be this. And us really declaring that from our heart space of, I'm worthy. I believe that I deserve this and I am going after this and there's enough for everyone. And I can have this beautiful life if I choose it. And it really is that state of being, that emotional excitement, passion, joy that we can bring into everything. And I get it. Sometimes it's hard to see the positive when we're faced with, reality. I think about the hurricanes that have went through on the coast and how do you step back in that experience and see the positive? There are lots of positives if we can step back and look at some of those. We can't be positive about our losses, right? I get that. But what is the learning lesson and how can we ask the angels to help us heal and move through that and have more of a positive state of being around everything in life? And I believe the angels are there to help us do that when we allow ourselves to step into that.
I agree 100% that hidden within every disaster is something wonderful, is something positive, is something valuable that you can take away. It may take some time for you to get from, oh, this terrible thing is happening, to, oh, look what I've gained. So give yourself time. And, that fake it until you make it kind of creates a uncomfortable energetic model. So the angels are suggesting that we just change it. And so, because we don't like faking. We don't like fraudulent con artist kind of energy. So instead, they are suggesting that you just give yourself the opportunity. Let me try this on, like trying on clothes. Let me try this on. Let me see what it feels like to feel good in every circumstance instead of anticipating doom and gloom. You had to try on the clothes of doom and gloom. As a child, you came ready to play and have a good time and experience. As you grew, you learned some things don't work out, and then you became apprehensive and started, and certainly with society's support, you started looking for the what's wrong. So just try on a different kind of clothing. Oh, I'm going to try looking for that positive, more desired thing within whatever it is I'm experiencing. Just try on something different. Give yourself permission to have a new experience and see how it feels. You can always go back. I think that's the most important thing they taught me because I was so nervous, so unwilling to give up my belief systems that were all horrible when I first started really taking them seriously, when it became less of a game and more of a, I gotta change my life, but I don't want to change anything. When I got to that point, it became really tough for me to make that jump. And so they just kept telling me, just try it. You can always go back. If it doesn't work, if you don't feel comfortable, if you are anxious for any reason, you can still go back to the way that you used to be. But we, this is them speaking, we ask that you give it some time. So try on this new way of being for at least 2 weeks and then decide, is life better? Is life worse? Can you see any change in a direction that you would like to go? If so, keep going. If not, reevaluate. Are you sure you want to go back to where you were? Or perhaps you need to adjust the trajectory slightly. But you have to understand you have been practicing a pattern, probably since childhood, that has gotten you where you are. If you don't like where you are, one day of changing your approach is not going to be enough. You might have 20, 40, 50 years of the other. You got to give it a little bit of time to gain momentum. But you can always revert back to where you were if you are totally uncomfortable with having a life that feels good.
Sometimes we get really comfortable in what we know, right? And so
Oh, I sure
that's
did.
I think that's where a lot of people are. It's like they understand what they're up against now and this opportunity. So they don't know what it will be if they change it. So I can see where people get really hesitant to move forward. Share with us some of the things that you offer to clients or what you offer and how people can check those out and find some new ways to view their lives.
Well, I think that's the most important thing is to understand that this is available to everyone. Everyone has access to the divine through your heart center. There is no one that has been cut off. The most that you can do is close down the connection because you're not using it. You can't close it off. It can't cease to exist. So everyone has the same place to begin from, and that is right in that heart center. You can connect with the divine right this minute by closing your eyes, taking a breath, and putting your focus on that heart center and just saying, I'm ready. I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to interact. I'm ready to open my heart. So begin there. And from that place of connectivity, open yourself even further. but recognize that it's so important to let go of pain or trauma or abuse that you may have endured. I'm not saying you forget about it. I'm not saying that you act like it never happened. But if you give all of your energy to the pain that you've experienced, to the ways in which you failed, to the times things didn't work out, you won't have any space left to really examine and to hold on to and to blossom with all of the ways that things are going well. So you have to make room. You have to be willing to let go, jettison this negativity. Call on Archangel Michael. He is the absolute greatest helper. His job is to support us by helping us release those toxic products that we've created with our negativity. Call on his support. Just say, I need help. You don't have to go into no big formula. There is no standard way. It's just be you, come from your heart, be willing to accept the help, and allow them to be your support system. And as you gain free space, be sure to fill it up with love and things that bring you joy. Don't just leave a big empty space. Well, we'll see. You're going to gravitate to what you know, and what you know is that past pain and trauma. So once you say, Archangel Michael, help me be free from this, once you give your agreement, once you say, yes, I'm ready to let go, then make sure that you're doing your best to focus on something loving, joyful, peaceful, uplifting, inspirational. So you're filling yourself up with good and not just leaving an empty hole where that bad used to be. And I have a whole YouTube channel and lots of instructional videos on my website that will help you out. And we're also giving away a free ebook, 11 Ways to Welcome Angelic Assistance. So we're always happy to have you come join us on our website. I do offer pay what you can counseling. It's group counseling because we're a nonprofit foundation. So the support that you need is available, and we are happy to share the angels with you and show you just how easy and practical it is to work with the angelic realm, as opposed to trying to do it all by yourself and just stay firmly grounded in what you can see.
I love that. Thank you for sharing all that with us. And thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show today. I hope you'll come back and be with us again, and we'll talk again even further. I've really enjoyed that. So thanks so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. And I welcome everyone. It's the Heart Healing Foundation.org. Please come take advantage of those free resources. I channel a blog. I have, as I said, lots of videos, lots of support, because the whole idea is to uplift everyone that we can. Because selfishly, I want to live in a world that feels good. So the more people that I can uplift, the better you make my world.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for those that have watched or listened to us on their favorite channels. I hope you'll follow us, like, and comment. And I wish you a very sacred and magical week. And we will see you soon in another show.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Violet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Violet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.